There is quite literally only one way to make money in real estate in Canada right now, and that is missing middle housing. I'm going to explain why that is, but before I do that, I want to talk to you a little bit about an event that we are hosting called Middle School in the city of Toronto. This is for anyone interested in learning more about how to develop missing middle. It could be a real estate professional, investor, developer, mortgage professional, etc. Even a homeowner with land that could be developed. We're hosting this event with Middle, who is a finalist in CMHC's Housing Supply Challenge, alongside this guy, Alkarim Devani, who is one of my favorite developers in Canada. He was a founder of this company, Round Square, which is one of the most reputable missing middle developers in the world. Missing middle housing is basically housing that is between a single family detached house and a mid-rise building. And the reason why it presents such a unique opportunity is because it is quite literally too big for the small guys and too small for the big guys. It's in the middle. And you see kind of the similar phenomena evolving around the services that are provided to these individuals. There's a missing middle in the realtor professional services, as an example, where you have the CBREs of the world servicing the top end of the market, and you have the REMAXs of the world servicing the bottom end of the market, and there's quite literally nobody doing a good job at scale in the middle. Now, at the same time, Ontario has the largest shortfall of housing in Canada. In fact, its housing shortfall is actually almost as large as all other provinces combined. However, the housing supply pipeline is about to dry up because the new condominium apartment sales, or pre-construction condos, sold as many units in 2024 as it did during the 1990s, which in the 1990s we saw a huge housing downturn and a prolonged recessionary period. This is why during those recessionary periods you see this big downturn in housing starts. And even though housing starts have been kind of going up in a long-term basis, they're actually rolling over and coming down in a cyclical fashion. And so even though we have this massive excess demand for housing, nobody's delivering it. And the reason they're not delivering it is because developers can't make a business case of bringing homes to market for prices lower than what they're currently being offered at. And the market, since interest rates went up, has been unable to pay those prices. And so basically you won't see any supply delivery in the high-rise space because high-rise is built out of concrete. It's a lot more expensive for builders to bring to the market. Yet we still have that excess demand, and that's going to keep compounding as the Canadian population grows. And so in the fullness of time, as we get to a recovery, which probably is a little while out now, the people who are able to deliver housing in an economical fashion will be doing so into an undersupplied market in the future. The other piece with missing middle is you're seeing a lot of zoning reforms taking place for this in the city of Toronto. So when we say too big for the small guys, one of the things that I think is really important here is that you don't want to be competing with the marginal buyer, your first-time buyer, because they have a qualitative incentive to pay a higher price than you. They're not a quantitatively driven buyer. But you also don't want to be competing with unsophisticated investors at the lower end of the market. These are your pre-con buyers, the people who are losing money, who have never run a pro forma, etc. And when you're in the lower end of the market, you're competing with less and less rational people. So you have to pay a higher price to get the deal. When you're in the higher end of the market, when you're talking, maybe a 1 acre site on a major arterial road, you're competing with large buyers. These are big institutions. They have lots of cash. They have huge underwriting teams. They have big negotiating power, and they're very difficult for the average investor to compete with. And so the middle scale really presents this perfect opportunity for somebody who wants to jump from just being a real estate investor to the next level and achieve greater returns in that process. The city of Toronto is actually releasing this study called the Major Streets Study as part of their expanding housing options in neighborhood, which is the thing that got fourplexes allowed in all residential neighborhoods, by the way. And it has basically taken every single major street in the city of Toronto and made it so that, or upzone them so you can now get 10 units and 6 stories without site plan approval, and you can get up to 30 units on any major street. Why does a major street itself matter so much to me? A major street matters because again, if we go back to this analogy where you don't want to be competing with all of the people buying single family homes, you're much less likely to be competing with a first-time home buyer or a family when you're buying a product that is located on a main road, because a lot of families don't want to buy homes on main roads. And so typically you can actually get these at a discount when compared to an identical product that's around the corner, simply because it's located on a major arterial road. So I hope that this has adequately presented the opportunity that I see in Missing Middle. If you want to learn more about exactly how to deliver this housing product, come to our event Friday, February 21st. There's early bird tickets available now for a limited time until the end of January. Here's the agenda. It's a full day event, so 9 to 4, and we're going to go through site acquisition, pre-development, design, development, approvals, construction, finance, and lease-up. And so pretty much everything you would possibly need to know to become a Missing Middle developer, you can learn at this event. So if you're tired of being an investor, if you're tired of competing with the marginal buyer, competing with all of the other investors for a bunch of crappy supply, that it feels like there's always somebody in the market willing to pay more than you for these houses, come out to the event, learn about Missing Middle, and become a housing creator. Thanks a lot for taking the time to watch this, and I hope to see you there.